Hey, Celtics fans. Today we're diving deep into what's been happening on the court with Boston, and it's a conversation that's been on everyone's mind lately, the team's shooting struggles. Lately, the Celtics have been struggling to find a rhythm beyond the arc. And while there are nights when the shots fall and everything looks perfect, there's a broader concern about whether these flashes of hot shooting are enough to carry the team through tougher stretches of the season. It's clear that the Celtics still have players who can hit the three, and when Anthony Simons or Sam Howard are knocking down multiple threes in a game, it can feel like the team has found a lifeline. Derek White, too, has shown moments of brilliance, but his consistency has been a question, especially as he adapts to a role that demands more creativity against defenses that are physical and well-prepared. It's not that the talent isn't there. The roster has shooters, but the system and game situations sometimes make it harder for these players to operate at full efficiency. Looking at some of the numbers helps illustrate the problem. The Celtics are averaging just over 1 point per possession on unguarded catch-and-shoot three-pointers this season, a noticeable drop from their previous performance where they ranked near the top in efficiency. These are the shots that should be automatic, the open looks that no defender is contesting, but even these are not falling at the rate you would expect from a team of this caliber. When you break down specific games like the matchup against Utah, it becomes even clearer. The team made only 6 of 20 open three-point opportunities, meaning 14 shots that should have been easy points went begging. The frustration here is that it's not just a matter of adjusting mechanics or waiting for a hot streak. There seems to be a deeper issue in translating potential into consistent performance night after night. Part of the challenge is understanding what these numbers truly signify. Are they just indicative of a shooting slump, something that can be corrected with practice and confidence, or are they masking larger structural issues within the team? There's a strong argument that while improving shooting would certainly help, it wouldn't solve everything. The Celtics are dealing with more fundamental challenges, rebounding, pace, and playmaking, that affect the flow of the game and the creation of high-quality shots. Nights when the team moves the ball well and executes fast transitions can be exhilarating, especially in the first quarter when the energy is high and the offense clicks. But as games progress, the ball tends to stick, defenses adjust, and the team's lack of consistent creators becomes apparent. This is where players like Derek White are tested. Even with his basketball IQ and ability to read the game, the increased physicality and limited space against top defenses can slow him down and challenge his effectiveness. This isn't to say that Derek isn't capable. On the contrary, he's a player who understands the problem, adjusts on the fly, and keeps pushing forward. Yet, even his skill set has limits when the surrounding circumstances aren't ideal. And these are the kinds of challenges that the Celtics face on a roster-wide scale. There are flashes of brilliance and individual nights where the three-point shooting saves the team, but relying solely on that is risky. The season isn't long enough for occasional hot streaks to cover up systematic weaknesses. If the underlying issues aren't addressed, even moments of exceptional shooting won't be enough to consistently secure victories against top-tier opponents. Another key component is the pace of play. The Celtics have always been strongest when pushing the ball in transition, moving quickly, and creating dynamic opportunities. But replicating that for 48 minutes is difficult, especially against disciplined teams. Jaylen Brown has expressed a preference for fast-paced basketball, but translating that desire into consistent execution on the court is another story. The team occasionally shows glimpses of this style, but it's inconsistent. When they do manage to push the pace effectively, it can produce leads and energize the team, yet sustaining it against more prepared opponents has proven difficult. Each possession becomes a test of whether they can maintain that tempo while still creating high-quality shots and maintaining defensive balance. Individual accountability also comes into play. Players like Derek White are willing to shoulder responsibility on tough nights, admitting when they haven't performed at their best. That kind of accountability is crucial for team culture, but it also highlights the reality that even disciplined, high IQ players can be limited by systemic issues, defensive pressure, and inconsistent spacing. Wins and losses are rarely the result of a single factor. They're shaped by a combination of individual performance, team execution, and sometimes small margins that swing momentum. Close losses, especially to teams like Utah, underscore the areas where improvement is necessary. Even when the team has opportunities to capitalize on opponents' mistakes, if the execution falters in key moments, those chances slip away. In the end, the current situation raises several questions for the Celtics. How much of the issue is about refining shooting mechanics versus building a more robust team structure? How does the roster composition affect players' ability to succeed in their roles? And how will these factors influence decisions as the season progresses, both in terms of in-game adjustments and longer-term planning for roster construction? These are the kinds of strategic considerations that go beyond hot streaks or cold shooting nights. They are fundamental to ensuring that the team can compete consistently at a high level. The challenges the Celtics face are multifaceted, involving player performance, team strategy, and execution under pressure. Addressing these areas effectively could transform flashes of brilliance into sustained success, creating a team that not only shoots well, but moves efficiently, defends smartly, and competes at every stage of the game. Every possession, every shot, and every decision contributes to the narrative of the season. The balance between strong performances and tough losses paints a complex picture, one where it's not just about making threes, but making the right plays at the right moments. Understanding the deeper trends behind wins and losses offers insight into the team's strengths and vulnerabilities, guiding fans and analysts alike in evaluating Boston's potential. The combination of shooting struggles, transition efficiency, and defensive challenges means that the Celtics must be proactive in identifying weaknesses, adjusting strategies, and leveraging their roster effectively. Success will require not only talent and effort, but also smart decision-making, consistency, and the ability to adapt to each opponent. As the season unfolds, fans will see nights where the three-point shots fall and nights where they don't. They will witness individual brilliance alongside systemic struggles, and these contrasts will define the Celtics' journey. Evaluating performance through data, observation, and context is critical to understanding how the team operates under various pressures. It's a reminder that basketball is both a game of skill and a game of strategy, where each player, each play, and each adjustment contributes to the overall story. For Boston, the challenge is turning potential into reliable outcomes, ensuring that talent is maximized and weaknesses are minimized, all while navigating the ebb and flow of a demanding season. Continuing with the Celtics story, one of the key elements to watch is how the team handles adversity and adjusts on the fly. Basketball is never static, and nights like the loss to Utah show how small moments can ripple through an entire game. Even when individual players are performing well, the team can struggle to convert that into consistent success because defensive rotations, spacing, and decision-making all interact in complex ways. Jaylen Brown's approach to pace, for example, illustrates the tension between individual style and team execution. He may prefer to push the ball and create opportunities quickly, but sustaining that energy across a full game against disciplined defenses is a challenge, especially when other components of the roster are not fully aligned to the same tempo. The balance between individual initiative and cohesive team play is delicate, and it can mean the difference between a comfortable win and a narrow defeat. Another area that stands out is the importance of spacing and how it affects offensive flow. When Jason Tatum, Kristaps Porzingis, and others create space on the floor, it allows players like Derek White to operate more effectively, finding lanes, attacking closeouts, and making plays that feel effortless. But when that space is restricted and defenders are aggressive, even skilled players can struggle. Physicality, size mismatches, and quick defensive rotations can disrupt rhythm and lower efficiency, forcing players to take contested shots or make difficult passes. This is where the role of supporting players and the overall game plan becomes crucial. The Celtics need not just shooters, but intelligent movement, timing, and a shared understanding of how to create high-percentage opportunities under pressure. Without that cohesion, individual talent can only do so much, and the team may find itself constantly fighting an uphill battle. Defensive performance also ties into the broader discussion. Rebounding, transition defense, and containing fast breaks are areas where lapses can quickly undo offensive efforts. The Celtics have moments where they dominate the boards and control the pace. Yet those flashes are inconsistent. When opponents crash the glass or convert second-chance points, it not only costs points, but also disrupts momentum and drains energy from the team. The challenge is building consistency, not just relying on streaks of scoring or a few hot hands to carry the load. Maintaining intensity on both ends of the floor, particularly when the team is struggling with shooting, becomes a test of discipline and resilience. Data and context provide a clearer lens for understanding these dynamics. Wins against teams like New Orleans and Cleveland show the potential of the roster, but they also highlight the gaps that can be exploited by stronger, smarter opponents. Close victories can mask weaknesses, and unexpected losses illuminate them sharply. Each game adds another layer of insight, revealing patterns that help explain why certain matchups are difficult and why certain strategies succeed or fail. Evaluating performance in this way, beyond just box scores, allows for a deeper appreciation of the tactical and technical elements at play. It also emphasizes that the Celtics' challenges are not about one player or one stat. They are systemic, and overcoming them requires a multifaceted approach. Communication and leadership on the court are equally critical. Players taking accountability, recognizing when adjustments are needed, and responding to pressure in real time can mitigate some of the deficiencies in shooting or spacing. Derek White, for instance, demonstrates the kind of mental resilience and basketball intelligence that allows him to navigate tough defensive schemes and learn from mistakes quickly. His ability to adapt is vital, not only for his own performance, but also for maintaining team cohesion. That said, reliance on individual brilliance cannot replace structured strategy and collective execution. Successful teams marry talent with consistent systems, ensuring that every player knows their role and can operate effectively within it. The Celtics season, like any in the NBA, is a constant balance between potential and reality. Moments of brilliance, three-pointers falling, fast breaks executed flawlessly, strong defensive stands, can inspire and energize, but they are not sufficient on their own. For Boston to maintain success across the grind of the season, they must combine these flashes with reliable structure. That means improving rebounding, controlling the pace, and creating shot opportunities that are both high quality and repeatable. The challenge is sustaining these elements against elite competition while continuing to refine individual and team skills. Injuries, matchups, and fatigue all add layers of complexity. Even the most talented rosters experience slumps or periods of inefficiency, and how a team responds defines its trajectory. Boston's ability to analyze performance, identify trends, and make targeted adjustments, whether in rotations, play calling, or spacing, will ultimately determine their consistency. The narrative of the season is not only built on victories, but also on the lessons learned from losses, the resilience developed through adversity, and the incremental improvements that compound over time. But before we continue, please remember to subscribe to the channel and give the video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest news about the Boston Celtics. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments as well. Whispers are spreading through the NBA world this morning, and the epicenter seems to be Boston. Sources close to the Celtics locker room are hinting at what could be one of the most explosive splits of the season. Head coach Joe MAZZULLA has reportedly had a serious falling out with one of the team's starters. Insiders describe a tense confrontation in the locker room that has left both sides at a breaking point. The words exchanged, according to those familiar with the situation, were sharp, personal, and uncompromising. So much so that MAZZULLA is allegedly adamant that the player in question will not be coming back. Details on the specific incident remain scarce, but whispers suggest that the argument was not just about strategy or performance. Instead, it appears to have touched on personal accountability, leadership, and perhaps tensions that have been simmering under the surface for weeks. The Celtics have been in a delicate position all season, balancing high expectations with inconsistent play, and sources hint that this locker room clash might be the tipping point. Fans and analysts alike are already speculating which starter could be at the center of the storm. Some point to the players' recent public criticisms of the team's rotations, while others suggest it might be tied to an ongoing feud with teammates that has quietly flared into open conflict. Whatever the cause, the implications are huge. Losing a starter mid-season could reshape Boston's playoff trajectory and shake up MAZZULLA's reputation as a coach capable of handling high-profile personalities. Inside the Celtics organization, reactions are reportedly mixed. Some are said to sympathize with MAZZULLA, citing the need for authority and discipline, while others are quietly worried about the potential fallout in team morale. Social media has already lit up with speculation, with fans debating the authenticity of the reports and theorizing about trade possibilities if the split becomes permanent. At this point, nothing has been confirmed publicly, but the rumor mill is working overtime. If true, this episode could mark a dramatic turning point for both the player and the Celtics franchise, a stark reminder that in the high-stakes world of professional basketball, even the most talented squads are not immune to explosive internal conflicts. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Boston Celtics, please subscribe to our channel and give the video a like. We always appreciate your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.